Hello and welcome to Cruise 5. Our guest today is the leader of the biggest opposition political party in Malawi, the Malawi Congress Party, Dr. Lazarus Chakwera. Welcome to the show, Dr. Chakwera.
Thank you. What a joy.
Thank you. First, where were you born?
I was born in a little village, Malembo, Kasia area,
Yes.
Lilongwe district.
And is that where you grew up or you moved around a lot?
That's where I grew up, basically, and attended primary school at Malembo. There was a time, a stint of 2 to 3 years that I was with my brother-in-law, who was a teacher, and then I attended part of primary school at Nambuma, at Kaninga Primary School.
Growing up in a Chewa community, there's a lot of Gule Wankulu there. Were you initiated into the Gule Wankulu cult?
No, I don't want to go in there. But I can tell you this. I can tell you that we were a third generation believer.
Okay.
My grandfather, which I never saw,
Okay.
had died before I was born.
Yes.
Even though he had his own prophecies about me when he was dying. And then he's the one who really did very bad things, including killing people and fighting and so forth. But when he came to Christ, he told his children that I have done all the evil that needs to be done. I don't want you to follow,
to do any evil,
to follow after me. And so my dad, he was a preacher, and he established many of the churches where we come from as an evangelist and the church planter. And so we were third generation, and we were shielded from that kind of traditional setup. We would see, you know, but they would always pass by our village on the distance and stuff like that.
Let's get back to you growing up. So you did your primary school where you were born, and then after that, how did it go? Where did you go to secondary school?
I was privileged to go to Mtendere Secondary School.
It was a very popular secondary school.
After I did my primary school, Standard 8, first time, I was selected to go to Mtendere. It was one of the best, still is.
Wow, yes it is.
Because these Catholic institutions, I tell you something.
Yeah.
They got something going. That's
amazing.
Good. That's good. So
amazing.
It was one of the best. It still is, and it was a joy. At that time, there were a few of these national secondary schools.
Yes.
And so when you got selected to one,
it was a big thing.
It was a big thing.
So from Ntendere Secondary School, where I presume you spent all your 4 years?
Yes, I did.
And from there, what did you do?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. And from there, you know, they gave us choices. Where do you want to go?
Okay.
So my first choice was I want to go do A-levels.
Okay.
Go to high school.
Okay.
And because at that time I was thinking I want to be a medical doctor.
Oh, you wanted to be a medical doctor?
Yeah. And
never worked out.
And then the second choice was I want to go to Chancellor College.
Yes.
So after the results came out, I went to Blantyre again, the first time to go south.
Okay.
I went to Blantyre, started my A-levels, and they began to teach us bedside manners and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But there was restlessness in my spirit.
Okay.
Like something is not adding up. And so what happened was, I think a month or two, if not 3 later, the university selection list came out.
Okay.
And my name had also been put on a Chancellor College list.
Wow.
So then I said, that's what I want to do.
This is it.
I left all the sciences and went to Chancellor College and did arts. As soon as I graduated,
yes,
3 things happened. Okay, graduation.
Yeah.
I got married. I went to Bible college.
Immediately after graduation, you married?
That is it. A boy coming from the central part of Malawi.
Yes.
And I'm in the south.
Yes.
And we go to Blantyre, and there's a girl at the Polytechnic doing business studies.
Yes.
And she's also part of SCOM.
Yes.
And as university students mix and mingle, I spot this girl, and she's from the north. So I married a girl from the north. I come from a center. We met in the south.
Oh, my God. That's a truly national marriage.
Yeah, you bet. So,
and you didn't waste time.
So
after graduating, you're like, okay, there's another graduation that I need to do.
She had graduated before I did, and so we were making preparations, because at that time I had now made my choice what we were going to do.
Okay.
And so we were making preparations not just for my graduation, but for my wedding ceremony immediately after that. So that's how, and we went to Bible college in South Africa after we stayed 3 months at Nkoma, and started family in South Africa.
Fantastic. Let's talk about music. What's the first rhythm going to be?
Well, I don't know. What about Farao?
Fantastic. Lucius Banda, Farao. That's the first choice from our guest today in Cruise 5, Dr. Lazarus Chakwera. This is Cruise 5, and today we are talking to the president of the Malawi Congress Party, Dr. Lazarus Chakwera, who started off as a member of the CCAP and somehow ended up in Assemblies of God.
Yeah, it's a story.
There's been a lot of talk about
a wonderful story.
Yes.
And because you are always wise by hindsight. When the things happen, you don't know what's going on. But after our stint in South Africa,
yes,
and we came back, and we got questioned about several doctrinal issues, and then they said no, that's not what we preach and teach, and stuff like that. But it's all history now. And most of them now embrace and teach what was not acceptable then. But
it was infant baptism, I gather. That
that was part of it.
Tell me about you turning to God and taking it seriously to the point of going to a theological college. But you set out to be a medical doctor. At what point did this happen? Where did you say, wait a minute, I think this is the path I must take?
Yeah. You know, being raised, born and raised in a Christian home, knowing about Christ, and we memorized scripture. We won competitions as a little boy because of scripture memorization and so forth. I didn't know Christ personally until I was in secondary school.
Okay.
In Form 2. Mm-hmm. And then I said, no, I would commit my life to Christ. That is when things began to change. Even though my uncle in Chichewa would say father,
yes,
who was the younger father to my dad. Mm-hmm. He was a presiding officer at a local court,
okay,
and so a judge.
Yeah.
So at one stage I says, no, I want to be a lawyer, I want to be a judge.
Yeah.
And then I changed a little bit and says, I want to be a medical doctor. And then I get saved, and the reason that I wanted to be a medical doctor was,
yes,
I never was able to speak to a crowd of people. I've been self-conscious, and I said I can deal with one individual at a time.
I need to hide behind a small office.
So
examine people in privacy and engage them at that level.
Keep to myself.
Yes,
that's it. But when I got saved, something began to work in me.
And you were able to face crowds?
Well, it didn't happen just like that, but it was a gradual process.
Yes.
Because I remember my first testimony.
Yeah.
I still went to my headmaster, who was Brother Adrian.
Yeah.
And I says, would you let me share my testimony? He says, what are you thinking about? I says, to use your notice board. So I wrote my testimony and pasted it on the school notice board.
Wow.
Because I couldn't face. But anyway, in the process of time, I still shake whenever there's crowds, but I've been able to speak to thousands, even field stadiums.
Yes, yes.
Throughout my career, and field arenas, even in the United States.
Yes.
But you think back to the village and you say, this is not possible. Only God can do this. When
it was said that you were joining frontline politics, many a person were quite surprised because they had known you mostly as a pastor with the Assemblies of God.
That's true.
But probably you must have started doing politics at an earlier stage than we knew.
Well, a church has its own politics, but I was just as surprised.
Yes.
Because I had pushed this aside all the time, every time some of that thought would be brought to my attention.
So you had been thinking about it?
I had been to some extent, but you know, our family has always been, not just politicians and preachers, they've always been involved in politics.
Active politics.
Active politics, because they were even imprisoned during the 1959 state of emergency.
Oh, were they?
So family members have been involved all the time.
It must be a terrifying thought, though.
It is.
To think of taking up such a huge responsibility.
And it was. Mm-hmm. And the mistake I made was, I said, okay, let me pray about it. You don't want to do that.
That's as well as saying, amen.
You don't want to do that because you may be surprised. And so I fought with God. And one day I was struggling with him in prayer in my office. I was reading my scriptures. I was praying. I'm seriously praying like I had been because I said, okay, I'll give this my attention. Mm-hmm. I got tired and I was walking out of the office to go to the restroom, and I passed by my other workers, secretary were outside where I could pass by them to go to that. And when I put my hand to the door, I heard God speak to me, and I don't know how else to explain it.
You heard God?
And I stopped, and I went right back to my office. Didn't even enter that restroom. Went back to my office. I turned my Bible open, and because I knew exactly where that was coming from.
Yes.
And I went back to Exodus, and I read through and through in the 3rd chapter.
So this was the moment you made up your mind.
That was the moment I made up my mind, and my peace came over me, the Lord's peace, I should say, and I says, I need to talk to my wife.
This is probably a question that you'd be the right person to answer, because you're coming from the church and going into mainstream politics, and people say politics is a dirty game. Have you seen the dirt in politics?
They would say that.
Is it as dirty as they say it is?
But you see what? It is people who are dirt. And the dirt in people's hearts is what manifests itself, most particularly in politics. It's time to wake up. That's why I like, if you want another musical, Kalawi Suzuka, Malawi Suzuka, let's do that. Because it's a time to get up.
That's it. We already woke up. You said quite 50-something years ago, and we woke up.
Yeah, but then what happened? We went back to sleep.
So we're snoozing again.
We slept on the job. We you know, first of all, we slept on the job with regard to human rights.
Yep.
And people woke up and says, no more of this. And I said, yeah, no more of that. And but now we're sleeping on the job, and there's so much stealing, so much wastage, and so much mismanagement of resources, and so much corruption. It's time to wake up again.
That's the message. Zuga from Malawi. Let's see it.
Driver with your mission. Don't want a street kid, alipa kona. Akoso pangidwa adopt. Koma Malawi akudikila madona. Mesa kamusa nkati kwacha. Banja Malawi ampiri akana gona. Tuka Malawi tuka. Kwasaka 50 wakala ukugona. Kungo panda kutuka. Upesa tisedi yalanda nyanja. Don't legalize homosexuals. Hamuna sanga mange banja. Tuga Malawi we tuga, Michanigale unaya babukona. Tuga Malawi we tuga, Agule melandi wabwela naona. Tuga Malawi we tuga, Dimageti ngodo seba moza. Tuga Malawi we tuga, Tuga Malawi we tuga. Tawi yomwe ndikagona, nepesa kwacha ataitita mpampu. Banata kugawe patatu, mesa chile mbwana fela Malawi moti. Ways matafale, nobody knows, nobody cares to know. Aliyese akugona, wina Malawi anafela kutulo. Jiru yaka yelekela, hama ijela ndi wakungulo yela. Foja ndi malima ndino, tengo ama panga wina. Tuga Malawi we tuga, Michanigale unaya babukona. Tuga Malawi we tuga, Agule melandi wabwela naona. Tuga Malawi we tuga, Dimageti ngodo seba moza. Tuga Malawi we tuga, Tuga Malawi we tuga. Tuena wafusa za Malawi, palibe jabu nojimena manene. Hati Malawi kwa umpawi. Nizalo wachozi ndimango digila ntawi. Chamedi Malawi sanga jikule. Contract jodenta Malawi sanga ipule. Bomaligala kwita Malawi sanga tutule. Malawi akapoda Malawi adindi hule. Asajoka kutie mwi asaditukule. Asajoka kutie mwi asaditukule. Tuga Malawi we tuga, Michanigale unaya babukona. Tuga Malawi we tuga, Agule melandi wabwela naona.
That is a song from Kalawi, Zuka Malawi. And it seems like that's the message from our guest today in Cruise 5, Dr. Lazarus Chakwera, the president of the Malawi Congress Party. Says we need to wake up. Now, Fusondira Kuti, who holds the key? Who will say, who will break the jinx? Where? Is it the leaders? Is it the people?
Okay, so this is where the leader becomes extremely important, because a leader is not just a leader, he is also a teacher of the nation.
So it will come from the leader.
Yes, sir. And this is a principle that you find even in the scriptures. It has to come from the leader. You have to lead by example. You have to demonstrate that, and because of the position you're given, you will see that when leaders say something, it will be quoted. But the same thing said by somebody on the street will mean nothing.
Yes.
Because they are given that platform. And so when you are a leader, you have that platform. Use it to empower others, to educate others. Use it to make sure that those potential things in people get realized.
What gets me quite worried is that as a country, as Malawi, we have tried to change leadership. We've had Dr. Kamuzu Panda, we've had Bakiri Muzi, we've had Professor Bingo Mutarika, Dr. Joyce Panda, now we have Peter Mutarika. When you look at, we have tried to change the leadership, but when you look at what's happening on the ground, it would look like we're not making progress.
If you can't change the people, change the people. That is something that I learned in leadership studies.
What does that mean? If you can't change the people, change the people?
All right. Because there are levels of change.
Yes.
We need a mind revolution. Not just changing a leader because there's a new face.
Okay.
When actually, everything else remains the same.
Yes.
If you notice, when we went out of the one-party system, every government or administration that has come in, despite the fact that we are in a multi-party dispensation, has behaved like there is just a one-party system. You can get out of Egypt, but find it very difficult to get Egypt out of you. That was a problem with the children of Israel when they were taken out of Egypt. And it takes time, I know, but it takes a will to say, let's break this jinx. I am positive that Malawians now know no amount of handouts, no amount of government resources wasted and used in campaigns will change their mind when they want things changed.
The President of the Republic of Malawi, Professor Peter Mutarika, how often do you talk to him?
Not much.
Not much.
Not much.
Do you think you should be talking?
Oh, well, I think we should be talking to each other a lot more.
Yeah.
Have
you met like informally, other than the official?
Oh, we meet informally, you know, in those formal things. But sometimes
a little handshake there.
Sometimes, you know, when was the last handshake meeting? Maybe too long now.
You can't even remember.
Because it was at a wedding or somebody. But I can tell you what. Can I tell you this?
Please.
Don't make it.
No.
Don't tell nobody else. But when I called him one of the days, wished him well and so forth. Oh yeah, we need to meet. It never happened.
How does it?
So
come?
I can't. I can't force myself on them. And so what I do then is respond in Parliament whenever there are issues to be responded to.
What kind of man do you think he is? How does he come off to you as? Is he? I don't know.
I don't know. But personally, I have no issues with him at all.
Yeah.
I believe he's a very good man. I believe that because the few times we have interacted, you say, hey,
we should be having this more.
This is. So you know. But I guess the political aura that sometimes surrounds us makes it. No, we need to interact more as people, as persons.
Yeah, because it should be a cause of concern to me that the leader of the country is not talking quite regularly to the leader of the biggest opposition political party. We are not developing this country together, I guess.
But listen to me. It is almost like somebody taking the initiative. And when the stronger one takes the initiative, it becomes a little easier. This is how I have sensed in my own life growing up, that when God reached out to me, even while I was running away from him, it became easier because I knew then that he is not out to get me. but he wants me to be his friend and child. And so sometimes it's a hard lesson even for us to reach out to those that need to be reached out to, and then make them feel like, okay, it's all right. You smile a smile out of a child.
That's really profound. And with that, I think we can get into our third song.
Well, maybe then let's go gospel.
Oh, yes.
Because I like, gospel.
Okay.
And I like things that people can dance to, but they also have a spiritual sense.
Do you dance yourself?
Well, not me.
No, like sweating, dancing till you sweat.
Yeah, I dance very well in my sleep. But but I have children that love dance. My wife loves it. But anyway, that's another story. What gives me confidence?
Yes.
So I'm able to stand even when some people feel like I need to be down, is my faith in Jesus.
Oh, yes. Oh, that's a song by Faith Musa, actually.
Faith Musa.
Oh, yes. This is Cruise 5, and today we're interacting with the man who is in charge of the biggest opposition political party in Malawi, the Malawi Congress Party. His name is Dr. Lazarus Chakwera, and he is in charge of a party that seems to be in total chaos as we're speaking, because everybody's pulling in the opposite direction.
Wow.
You've got Gustav Kalio pulling in one direction.
How do you have a party in total chaos and then they win by elections 5-1?
You've got Jatinga Ngoma pulling in the other direction.
I tell you what, people that speak their mind on anything, I encourage them to do that. I would be the first to defend their right to criticize, their right to speak, even if I may not, agree with their opinion. I'll be the first to defend their right to do that.
So you're okay with the MCP members making all these
I am very
statements?
okay with all of that. In fact, some of the things that's been going on in MCP are nothing but organizational challenges of a movement that is wanting to truly make a difference and serve Malawians by providing the servant leadership that's desperately needed.
It's also something that threatens your chances of winning the election in 2019.
No, it doesn't. I can assure you, we could not have won 5-1 if that is a true premise that needs to actually be pushed as reality.
You keep talking about 5-1, and you are quite excited about that, and I do understand that. But I've got a question on 5-1.
All right.
And the question is, should we really attribute this recent success to structural changes in the MCP, or it was what they call a fluke? In Sanje Lalanje, there's Siddiq Mia there, and people are saying probably that's the Mia influence. In Area 23, Ulemu Sungama, people are saying, well, people were really mad about what happened in 2014, and this was a way of getting back at them. And so should we really attribute all this success to, oh, this is a new MCP and things are changing, or maybe you just got lucky?
Well, which election doesn't take advantage of anything that's going on as part of the context within which that election takes place? There were other candidates. So we fielded candidates that people had faith in, they trusted. Not just because people wanted change for the sake of change, to spite DPP, for example. They could have chosen the others because there are others that also run the race. No. So it could be all of the above. But I'm telling you, no party in this country has done what MCP has done and is doing.
What's that?
That is, in holding elections across the whole nation at all levels. We are not quite finished yet. Because
last season you didn't, last election you didn't field candidates in other parts of the country.
That's what I'm telling you. So you should now appreciate, well, at least you ought to, the fact that we have an MP in the South. Why didn't we field candidates last time? We didn't have credible people that would stand on MCP. And that in itself was a big minus, because even those that voted for MCP's president to be president of the nation, that vote had no one to protect, to look after, and to guard or safeguard. And so we made lots of mistakes that we're learning from, and we don't want to do that. That's why we say it. In accordance with the MCP's constitution as to the reason for MCP's being. This constitution was ratified in 2003. It says our reason for being is threefold. And we're there to help with the development of the nation. We are there to help with the consolidation of democracy in the nation. We are there to ensure that every Malawian has dignity. So it's the 3 Ds on the ground, and we have structures everywhere, not just names on paper. Not just having elections at a convention level where you elect a president, but everyone stays intact.
Structures everywhere, apart from the southern region.
No. We have structures. That is precisely why you are mentioning the fact that we have a ward councillor in Dirande and an MP in Sanjalalanje.
People were quite surprised when the Malawi Congress Party accepted Honorable Siddiq Mia into its fold.
They were surprised?
They were surprised.
And why were they surprised?
They were surprised that this is what you have been calling the all-new MCP, the rebranded MCP. And you're accepting a man who has been in almost every political party in Malawi.
Well, everyone in Malawi by default, at one time or another, was MCP.
Oh, but
whether they were there actively or not. And then things happened, and people had their reasons to be what they became. And so we are creating a movement that says, if you're in love with the MCP's policies and stand, and we want to take this country back to the people and empower the people, and you want to help with that process, and we want to deal with corruption, we want to deal with the evils of thievery and wastage, and you are in love with that, come join us.
Now, here's the thing.
And if they come join us, we will say our doors are open.
Yes.
But you understand this is what we stand for.
Yes. Now, here's the thing. I've heard it said that the people who are running this country from 1994 up to now are pretty much the same people, the same names. These are people who have jumped from one party to another as long as it is in power. You have demonstrated to Malawians that you can accept a man who was in the UDF, went to the DPP, went to the PP, and now is in the MCP.
And why did he get out?
Okay. Before we get to that, what hope do people have that should they vote the MCP into power in 2019, they won't be seeing the same old faces running the government in the same old ways all over again?
You know, you have to create a critical mass. In any organization, you have to have a core of people who have a shared vision and a like mind. And when you do, even in a nation, even in an organization, when you are able to get that important 20%, you can create a movement that reverberates. These are studies that social people will talk about. And what I'm creating is a movement of young and old, as well as interested women and interested men, that say, we want to have buy-in into what you're standing for, and we want to support it. And on that basis, we say, come join the band. It's a movement of Malawians who said, this country has been divided too long, and that's why I'm preaching one Malawi and one nation and one vision. Those that say, nobody will come and develop this country for us. We must do it ourselves. That's why I say nothing for us without us. We must take charge of a future we want, and we want to do it with the integrity that is demanded. And I'm saying, Yinchichewa, muntu akabwerera ngati wazindikira kuti inali njira yakumanda.
Aha.
Kuti mbweze kuti kapita komweko.
Yeah, tsopano kusabwezako kuli apo. Kusabwezako kuli apo. 2019 mudzadabwa kuona kuti tiyerekeze mwapambana chisankho. Simudzadzidzimuka kuona kuti anthu amene mukuwaona pana kuyendetsa boma abwera ku MCP ndipo inu ndi imene mukuneneramu mudzalandira kuti inu mapita kumanda mwasintha njira bwerani kuno. We will end up with MCP yooneka ngati zipanda zimene zakhala mbuyo.
This is how we walk. Mwabwera atakulandirani.
Tikusinthani.
Now, this is how you must walk. And you must walk, you know, after what leadership is demanding.
Koma atabwera atu anthu kuti inu mwapambana.
Abwere kumene tikuti.
Atabwera tikadiye nawo.
Abwere kumene
mukalandira ameneyo.
Tikauza kuti zakudya nawo kuno kulibe koma zogwira ntchito, you are welcome. And
you're trying to teach a very, very old dog some new tricks. It's something that doesn't always work.
No, it doesn't always work. Probably, I should say, tell you, maybe my secret. This is why the hope is in you younger folks. That's why I peg my whole hope that younger people, not those that are being abused and used, but those that are saying, this country belongs to us. I want to empower those younger people to steer this ship in the right direction. If I can show them, it can be done.
Here is a question I've always wanted to ask.
Yes, sir.
Where does the MCP get its funding?
MCP gets its funding from members of MCP. I have told you about Nothing for Us Without Us.
How do they do that?
Because many times we raise these funds because there's some activity. It has become extremely hard to raise funds for projects. Projects when we have elections, or projects when we have something going on, people fund these things, everyone contributing. We also have a fund that comes from Parliament, because every party that has a certain percentage in Parliament gets funding.
Yes.
And so that helps run the day-to-day affairs.
Yeah, but it's a measly amount.
I know. Some people think it is huge enough to do anything with, but it's not.
And my question is, how are you able to do all these things? How are you able to run the campaigns that you managed to stage?
So that's where I'm coming from. We are privileged that we have, for example, MPs in Parliament, and these have been contributing money, either on a regional level or on national.
They do that from their pocket?
Oh yeah, they do, all the time. There are some MPs who have even put stop orders in a bank.
This money goes to my party.
Exactly. That's how they love it. Nothing for us without us is not just a slogan. It is something that's happening on a daily basis. And these elections that we just done, these people were put in groups, and they were spread throughout, and they were helping. And it is all, everyone says, this is our party, let's put in something. If you can't come up with 20,000, you can come up with 200. If you can't come up with either, you can present yourself and say, I want to go and be a monitor. We have freed people to say, do something, by all means, all hands on deck. Don't just watch, do something. And people are responding big time.
Wouldn't it be prudent, in the interest of accountability, for the party to publish names of the people who fund it? Because the thing is,
do you know something? You can come to the office, you can come to the treasury, they will give you information. Last time, I had a list of people that helped us, and I personally wrote letters to each one of them
to thank them.
Those documents are there. No, we are saying issues of transparency and accountability do not necessarily mean everyone is reading about what. But if you are interested, you can come to MCP. It is your office. It is anyone's office. They can do that. But we want to go a step further and say, folks, let's be in line with what we are pushing, even as we want political parties to be more accountable, and we will. We are in the process of doing that.
Let's put things back in context by listening to a very nice song, which you're going to select.
Well, I tell you what.
Yeah.
For me, it is going back to the cross.
Oh, yes.
To the old rugged cross, because it helps me understand who I am and where I've come from and what has made a difference in my life. And if I don't get the flesh, which is my, personal ambitions crucified at the cross of Christ, then I become like every other person.
Yes.
And so for me, it's a song, because I love country music.
Yes.
Many years ago, when Malawi Broadcasting Radio, NBC was doing country songs.
Yes.
I would stay up late every Friday.
That was a fantastic program that they used to
listen to country music. And so I love Southern gospel. They say that in the States.
Yes.
But Alan Jackson is someone, and the old rugged cross is a song that I still love. It still is powerful to this day.
Alan Jackson, The Old Rugged Cross. That's a choice from our guest today in Cruise 5, Dr. Lazarus Chakwera. What do you like to do when you're not busy with politics and preaching and you just want to be probably with your family or something. What do you like to do?
I love family, like you said.
Yes.
And every Sunday, fortunately now, our children used to live in different parts of the world and the country, but now they happen to be ministering, all of them in Lilongwe. So every Sunday afternoon is family day.
Wow.
We come from church, we gather together, the grandchildren, they're playing together, playing with cousins, growing up together. And I visit with my boys, because now I got more boys.
Yeah.
We had one son.
Yeah.
But because the girls have got their husbands, so I have more
They've
boys.
got more boys now.
And then I also have another girl that has joined the girls. And it has been a fantastic tradition
I can
that
imagine.
has allowed for us to maintain our family cohesion and appreciate God and what He is doing in each one of our families.
How many of your own children, I know you've got many children, how many of your own children do you have? How many children do you have?
The Lord blessed us, Miss Monica and I, with 4.
Okay.
1 boy
And 3
and
girls.
3 girls.
Okay, and
So
they're all around.
Yeah.
And busy giving you grandchildren, I guess.
Well, they are, which is, somebody says it's grandchildren, that's a reward you get for not having killed your children. So, but
oh yeah. Look,
But
I mean, when you think
enjoy.
about it that way.
yeah, we enjoy each other's company. We are able to watch things together, play games together.
Did you have any
watch
particular
soccer and whatever?
sports, anything that you like, football or boxing or anything? I don't know. Or have you ever participated in any of them? Have you been involved in boxing, for example?
No. I have watched boxing.
Okay.
There's a few lessons you learn there. I was an athlete, a field athlete.
Were
One
you?
time, I nearly got to go to Blantyre as a Central Region long jumper.
Oh, really?
That was when I was in school, and but soccer has always been. So we played. You know, with the teams and so forth. When I went to college, and I joined the youth team. You know, Chirunga Academics.
Yes.
And then they wanted us to do you know, practices at St. Mary's Sunday mornings. I said, nah,
I'm not going to do that.
That's it for me.
That's church
Sunday
time for
morning,
me.
I'm in church.
Yes.
And so I became a soccer fan.
Yeah. Because you couldn't play.
No, I couldn't. I said, nah, that's all right.
Any game that you have played before, like basketball, football, or anything?
So football was the thing.
Yes.
I learned to appreciate basketball because of Nicky, my son.
Okay.
When he was in secondary school, he would play basketball. And so in my travels, then I began to collect basketball, you know, tapes, the Michael Jordan stuff and everything for him. And then I grew to love basketball. And so I still enjoy it today. But soccer has always been. And then I love athletics too because I was also involved. So I like watching those whenever I have time.
What is it that you don't like about our country? What don't you like about Malawi?
That's a difficult question because
I
I pretty much love everything about it except us messing up. But
and we do mess up a lot.
But I love the beauty of this nation.
Yes.
Everywhere I travel, you know, it takes your breath away. If you traveled up north at this particular time, you would see the beauty of the foliage. You would, it's wonderful. And then you go to the lake, and then you go south, and you see the massive Mulanje. Oh, it is breathtaking.
It is.
This country is blessed. And so whether you go up north to Nika Plateau, or you are by the lake, or you are by the south, and everything you see out there, you say, my goodness, this country is blessed. So there's lots of things I like about this nation.
Being president of the Malawi Congress Party, what are some of the unusual things that come your way? Something that you've experienced that, I mean, could be requests from people, for example. I don't know. I've never been president of any party, so I don't know what it's like being sitting in the chair that you see.
Do you know, one day,
Yes.
Vice President, Right Honorable Chilima said,
Yeah.
I forgot the function,
Yes.
but he said, Malawians, please, and I'm paraphrasing, please take responsibility. Don't bear your children for a president to take care of. Oh,
I remember that.
You remember that?
We need to wind up.
Yeah.
A set of questions, which I would like you to answer by simply saying yes or no.
Uh-oh.
The only one that you have to answer in full is by you telling me your full name.
All right.
So what is your full name?
My name is Lazarus. I gave myself a middle name when I was in college, and it's McCarthy. And Chakwera is my family name.
Do you have any tattoos?
I don't think so.
Do you have any piercings?
No, I don't.
Have you ever shot a gun?
I tried to one time.
Have you ever cried over someone?
Many times.
Have you killed a chicken before?
Yes, sir.
Have you gotten into a fight before?
Yes, sir.
Have you gotten any surgeries before?
Not that I think of.
Have you ever been hospitalized?
Yes,
Have you ever donated blood?
many times.
Have you ever smoked weed?
No.
Have you ever drunk alcohol?
I tried it one time, and you know what? I was seeing the ground come up, and I thought it was already up, and then it was
you coming.
it was still way down, and I said, "No, this thing is not for me." So,
When was this? Was
confession is good for the soul, but this was way back when I was in primary school. Try not stuff.
quite a naughty young boy. Let's move on with the questions. Have you ever broken someone's heart?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe I have, but they would have to tell me.
Have you had a crush on someone?
Oh, I suppose so. When we were growing up, you know, and you thought this is it, but it wasn't.
Have you ever received a bribe?
No.
Would you receive a bribe?
No.
Have you ever turned down a bribe?
Sometimes when you suspect it, they could be. Yeah, I've said, no, I don't do stuff like that.
Do you want to be president of Malawi?
Yes, sir.
And this is where we end it.
Oh, is that so?
That
I was
is-
expecting...
I saw you moving further back in your seat.
I thought, how many other questions?
Oh,
do you have?
no, this is it.
All
But we
right.
still have to get the last song from you.
All right.
Yes.
I know who I am. Who is that? Do you know?
Sinash!
Ah,
Sinash did that song!
So you know some of these
I
things
do
here.
know, I
All
do
right.
know. Sinash is phenomenal. I watched
Yeah.
her perform live. She is,
Wow.
she's wow. She's great.
Exactly.
I Know Who I Am by Sinash. That's the
yeah.
last song
All right.
from our guest today in Cruise 5, Dr. Lazarus Chakwera. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Wonderful.
Thank you
I'm
so
so
much.
glad.
Thank
I'm
you so
glad
much.
you took time to
Thank
talk
you.
to me.
All over the world, lift up your voice. Do you know who you are? Shout in love, declare it. Believers anthem. Come on, let's go. We are a chosen generation. We've been called for to show His excellence. All I require for life, God has given me, and I know who I am. We are a chosen generation. We've been called for to show His excellence. All I require for life, God has given me, for I know who I am. I know who God says I am, what He says I am, where He says I'm at. I know who I am. I know who God says I am, what He says I am, where He says I'm at. I know who I am. I'm working in power, I work in miracles, I live a life of favor, for I know who I am. I'm working in power, I work in miracles, a chosen generation. We've been called for to show His excellence. All I require for life, God has given me, and I know who I am. We are a chosen generation. We've been called for to show His excellence. All I require for life, God has given me. I know who I am. I know who God says I am. What He says I am. Where He says I'm at. I know who I am.